defence, and that undoubtedly long arms of Sarah Langford is on that goalkeeper. This game will be umpired by Llylos Jones and Becky Scott. And here go North East Inferno in the black, taking that first centre pass. And Liv Hollis straight away showing what she's made of with those long arms. Becca and Catherine Hughes, what a talent they are on the court.
They just, twins, I know, they just know what each other's going to be, don't they? They can just release that ball into space and one of them will get on the end of it.
They just know exactly where they are. Twin telepathy at its finest. Oh, and Megan Thomas just couldn't quite stay on side for that ball to Chloe James.
She tried to get that foot out as quick as she could. Not quite quick enough. Becky Scott on the case.
Get there. Becky Scott, one of our best umpires here in the tournament. One of the A umpires we have here in Wales.
And what a quick transition there from North. The depth they get on court.
We have said it time and time again. North East Inferno are masters at spreading play.
And there it was again, that depth there from wing attack. Jessica Daltrey controlling that ball really well on circle edge.
And Emily Edwards is pulled for breaking the line. So North East now have another chance. Oh, Becca Hughes, fast feet and faster hands.
Oh, what a great start from North East.
But Sarah Langford did just enough to put her off. Not enough to get the ball though. Molly Underhill gets that starting position at goal shooter for them today. Previously been an impact player for North East Inferno with Erin Hook taking the starting 7, but clearly done enough to get on the court.
Yeah, and maybe it's just adding that bit of height in the circle because you have got the long arms of Sarah Langford in there. So maybe it's the coaches thinking tactically.
Absolutely, where Molly Underhill has shown her talents. We were talking yesterday about she has the airs of Georgia Rowe about her. Catherine Hughes always puts her body on the line for ball.
And that was unlucky there for Catherine Hughes. What a clean intercept and just an obstruction call.
Tash Jarvis tipping that ball away from Davis and winning the throw in.
She's been solid at the back, hasn't she, for North East?
She has been. She's been extremely solid at the back for North East. And a ball now going into the capable hands of Molly Underhill. Well, Catherine to Becca Hughes again. Daltrey beaten to the ball by Meg Baker. And Baker Reese couldn't get there quite clean enough.
Baker Reese is such a good defender, man-on-man, isn't she?
Such a tight defence, yeah. Baker Reese. Very athletic, isn't she, on the ball?
Very athletic, yeah. She doesn't give you an inch.
Being a wing attack, Sarah, you would have played against Baker Reese many a times.
Yes, I played against her in the National League and in Swansea League as well, more recently.
And Katie Davis. Well, yesterday we saw some athleticism from Davis, taking the ball off balance, turning on a heel and putting the ball up. The air of confusion from herself for putting the ball in the net, but it was absolutely incredible. The score now 6-1 for North East Inferno.
Coastal Heat just need time to settle, don't they? They are turning over ball. Just need maybe more options in attack.
Well, we do know that North East Inferno are known for their pace during the game and their speed, and Caitlin Jones collects that ball from the rebound. And there is that pace again, that ball from Daltrey to Catherine Hughes. Molly Underhill straight up into the net. Oh, twin to twin again. The ball's from Catherine to Becca, but that one just overcooked.
Just a bit of miscommunication there. But again, great defence from Sarah Langford. She confuses the space really well, doesn't she?
Arms everywhere from Langford. And when you think the space is free, it probably isn't.
No, she can get on the end of it. Good patience here from Coastal Heat, bringing this ball through.
Chloe James.
Lovely.
Chloe James has been a pivotal player for Coastal Heat.
She's just a clever player, isn't she? She takes her time on the ball. She knows where the space is. Really fast feet, actually. Quick feet.
Quick feet, quick hands. She releases the ball before she turns her head sometimes because she knows that the player's there to help her. Both of us also played with Chloe James in the circle.
And with Katie Davis in a goal shooter as well, who holds the space really well. Makes it easier for Chloe James to do things like that.
Well, Sarah Bell is going to go off to do some City Flames duties, so we do thank her for her comms. But joining me now is the machine worker herself, Nick Cook.
Thank you. I like that nickname. Can we carry it throughout the rest of my life, please?
Coming off that incredible win from playing Power Sparks.
Yeah. Do you know, right? It was really good. I think a lot of us were sore from yesterday. It was a really tough team against the North Black team, who were following a good display so far today. But we needed to get out there and get some goal difference on the board.
Absolutely, and goal difference you did get, as North East Inferno are trying to build now against Coastal Heat, but they're not letting them move away with the game that easily.
No, I think they're going to look at putting a really good performance out this morning, getting that confidence on court for the final this afternoon. And they were a really tough team yesterday to play against. It really challenged our team, put our defence under pressure. We had a lot of positives to take from yesterday, but actually a lot of things we can work on, and hopefully we get a chance to implement them if we can make the final today.
Well, it all comes down to this game for Valley Volcanoes. Who gets into that final? Coastal Heat battling their way through court to try and make it up against North East Inferno, who are currently unbeaten in that league table.
There's some nice battles going on in the mid-court.
Always battles in mid-court, aren't they?
They're both driving strong throughout, and they are not giving each other an inch of space.
Well, Emily Edwards and those quick feet and quick hands trying to beat Emily Wykes to the ball. I don't know who I would like to run against in that foot race. Clever play from Becca Hughes to hold that ball.
It's so difficult, that drive, that give and go on the edge of the circle is really, really hard to defend.
Because she's so quick, isn't she, to cross that circle, and you know it's going to go to her, but you can't do anything about it.
No, it's the quick feet and the quick hands. It's the combination, and obviously it's the twin telepathy between each other. I think they know where they are without even looking. So
exactly
it's really
like
difficult.
that ball.
Exactly like that ball.
Exactly like that ball. Becca Hughes knew exactly where Katrin was.
Yeah, they use the pockets really, really well, and it's another thing that's really difficult. They split us wide yesterday, which we need to try and combat if we get a chance again to play them again today. But it looks like Coastal Heat are putting out a bit of performance against them. They need to, I think, keep driving onto the ball, because you can't underestimate this North team. Their arms are for days.
Well, North East Inferno are currently 4 goals ahead, 9 goals plays 5. But that ball from Ollie Underhill just overcooked by Daltrey. Sarah and I were just discussing how Underhill has been taking the first goal shooter bib of the starting 7 in comparison to Erin Hook, who started the games for them previously. And would that be, so as a coach for Volcanoes, is that more of a height thing against Langford? Is it, she's obviously performed yesterday as an impact player.
Yeah, I just had a look now. My team are at the front looking at every inch of this game, and we thought it was interesting with the shooter change. But we definitely think that it's the height. Obviously, both of the girls are really, really strong. But I think if we don't actually have an offer of a height in the circle, which is extremely useful, but I think against Coastal Heat's defence, you need as much height as you can.
Absolutely do, especially with the arms of Hollis and Langford in there, and their elevation in their static jumps. Chloe James opening up the court there. Coastal Heat just playing it around, and there is the threat of Katie Davis.
So Katie Davis, we don't actually call her Katie. We call her glue hands. So every time we play against her, whether that's in league or obviously in National League, our team, I think it's a nice nickname, glue hands. Anything you throw at her, she catches and nails it. So
it's actually a very fitting nickname for Katie Davis, especially after yesterday's performance, putting balls in nets and balls everywhere off balance.
And she's really difficult to play against as well, because even though she shoots from far, she can shoot pretty much anywhere in the circle.
Well, Molly Underhill listened to the calls of her team, knowing there was 6 seconds left on the clock, puts the ball up in the net and manages to take that score up to 10-7. So at the end of that first quarter, Coastal Heat are on 7 goals compared to North East Inferno's 10. Well, what a starting quarter for this all-important game for both teams. North East Inferno, obviously unbeaten yet in this competition. Coastal Heat coming off a couple of losses, but have gained some points from that, as we know is important. Would you make any changes to either team at this point?
I think with obviously the North team, they've come out really, really strong. I think they will look at maybe rotating on the third quarter, depending on the score, because they're playing for everything now, but I think they want to try and rest the players for the final this afternoon. That's where they want to try and win the trophy off us. But with Coastal, I think, you know what, they need to come out and keep playing with that confidence, keep driving onto the ball. Similar to what we did yesterday, I think we actually allowed the North team to step in front of us, whereas they need to come out, keep driving, keep offering on the circle, and basically use the triangles and the width of the court. I think they're trying to play down the middle too much, and there's so much pressure in the North defence. I think if we start using the width a bit more, it's going to go in a bit easier.
Well, we do know that North East are a team that like to spread play quite equally. They play in like a wave of play, don't they? They like to bring you into the middle, spread you back out to the sides. You don't know what's coming from them.
They're very difficult to play against North East. They've obviously got they've got Merle as one of their coaches, who's an absolute legend anyway, and obviously the other coaches on board as well. I think that they adapt really well to who they play against. Like, they knew yesterday that how we like to play, how our defensive structures, and they built on that and they split us wide. So we need to try and combat that today. And I think Coastal, as they come back on now, if they can play a bit wider and come out of the zone and drive through it, I think they can be back in this game. There's 3 goals in it. It's 1 turnover and they're back in.
Absolutely, 1 turnover in it for Coastal Heat, and they could be in that all-important final and knock you off your pedestal, knock you off the top and take that trophy away from you.
I know, I might stop giving some tips now, just in case someone's listening. They're going to text Wendy.
Well, if Coastal Heat do all of that when they come back on the court, someone is definitely listening to your coaching tips. But just looking for any changes that's going on. We do believe that Coastal Heat are having a switch around in that circle defence. So Sarah Langford is going out to goal defence and Liv Hollis has gone into the goalkeeper position. For North East Inferno, some other changes. Katrin Hughes has moved out to the wing defence position. Jessica Daltrey has moved up to the centre position, and Chloe Morris comes on as wing attack, giving some rest to Emily Wykes, like you said, maybe for that final game.
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of these girls, they're a lot younger than us. They're really, really fit. And me, yeah. They're really fit, but it feels like they keep on going for days. They don't need much rest, but they're so versatile. I feel like every time I look at them, they're in a different position. And I know they are twins, 2 of them, but they can cover pretty much 4 positions between them.
Definitely. We do know Katrin Hughes can cover quite a lot of that court. But Coastal Heat, with that first all-important goal for them, Jess Daltrey.
It's really nice to see Meg, the centre from Coastal, back. She suffered a really nasty ankle injury in Bangor. And I watched her yesterday and she looked like she hadn't been away. So it was really positive to see.
Definitely nice to see injured players back on court. We have had quite a lot of injuries around from all teams coming over here. With a broken arm in Powys from Bangor coming back in to this one. We know we've had West Wales Phoenix suffered quite a lot of injuries. But like you said, it's lovely to see people back on court as if they've never been away, performing to the top quality we have in this league.
Definitely.
Emily Edwards just giving a little bit too much in the back of Katrin Hughes. What can Coastal Heat do here to shut down the fast-paced play of North East Inferno? What would be your most effective, I know you're probably thinking about it already, but what's the most effective way to stop their pace and movement of the ball?
To be perfectly honest, we did try to implement as much as we could yesterday, and that's one of the things that actually killed us. Coming down court was their speed and the fact that they know where each other are. I think a lot of us were kind of half man-to-man, half zoning, so if we do have the chance to play the North East again in the final today, we just need to be a bit more clued in as a team and just eyes up, because I said to the girls yesterday, don't underestimate that pass. If you think it's not going to go, they're going to give it.
100%. North East Inferno are known for getting hands on every ball, a bit like South East Blaze were earlier in that game against Northwest Fury. Arms on every ball, weren't they? Tipping and turning over ball.
Particularly, is it Charlotte, the tall blonde centre? Her arms, she has such a wide span, and then she's got the speed coming through court. She's so effective. That's a lovely turnover by Megan Baker-Rees.
There is Meg Baker-Rees, who we were just discussing. What a turnover she just took one-handed, but Sarah Langford pulled depth for footwork in
Meg
that
covers
centre.
the space so well. She watches every movement from the outside and people driving into the ball.
And Liv Hollis tried to tip that ball away from Molly Underhill, but she was having none of it. The score now 12-9.
If they can net this one, take it back up to 10, and then we turn one more over, just to get back in. I think once the Northeast run away with it, everyone's head will drop. But if Coastal can stay in with it until the 4th, I think we've got a game in our hands.
Well, confidence and morale is key to keep this game going. Jess Daltrey knows she can't touch that ball again. Contact pulled up against her.
That was really positive from Coastal. They kind of just completely smothered the middle area and they shut down that drive coming through from Northeast. Whereas I haven't really seen much of a zone from Coastal. It's more man-to-man. I think they find that quite effective. Whereas in that situation, the zone was really good.
Meg Baker-Rees again all over Chloe Morris. That wing defence position. We've seen very effective wing defences, especially today with Eloise Spacey in South East Blaze. Now Meg Baker-Rees as well. And we've seen it in Laura Jenkins on Valley Volcanoes. We've had many wing defences playing really hard off-ball bodywork, which is so effective, isn't it, on the back of the court.
And you know what? It's a running joke. We always say wing defence is the worst position because you have to run and run and run. You're basically chasing someone the whole game and you get not much glory for it. But actually, it's the hardest position on court. And I've played wing defence for many years. And I totally agree with it. But I think it's the work that you were doing on your attacker's body. Even if you're pushing it, you're causing them to cause a tip. If they're dropping the ball, you've got to be a really smart player to turn ball at wing defence.
Absolutely. And as Nat was saying earlier, whenever you have to play with 6, you drop a wing defence, don't you? But it's one of the worst positions almost to have to drop. But what else do you drop?
Of course, you can't drop the centre. But it's crucial. And I think that if you've got an attacking wing defence as well, it's absolute key. Because as soon as the ball's that turnover, if you're coming a wing defence or a goal defence at you, you're so hard to defend. And I think that's what both of these teams do really well.
Well, the score now is 13-11 to Inferno, only up by 2.
They put in more pressure. Coastal put more pressure on the centre part, so it doesn't look like it's going in as easy. They're slowing that second phase down. And when they do get to the top of the circle, the feed isn't going in that easily. They keep him within 3 as well, so I think this is really positive. And that 1-2 with Chloe and Emily, that was really, really quick. It's also unfortunate that it came off glue hands, or shall I call her Katie?
Katie. Not normal for it to come off Katie Davis's glue hands. Maybe it hasn't quite dried yet. But there is Molly Underhill securing that as a slight punishment for Coastal Heat, because North East Inferno will go again.
Yeah, they could have done with net in that one. And I think the difference with the North East team, their shooting stats were fantastic against us yesterday. As soon as they got in the circle, you knew that ball was going straight in. And I think that you can see the confidence from the mid-court. They feed them anywhere. They took the shot up. If they don't feel comfortable, they work their way in. As I said that, I think I just jinxed them.
It is a commentator's curse.
But she gets another shot.
And she didn't listen to that one. I think Becca Hughes wasn't quite sure about shooting from that position, but managed to get herself in a better range.
Yeah, Becca's got a lovely technique as well.
Becca Hughes, one of
I think they're just forcing that ball into Coastal. So even though Katie's a hold-in shooter, I think they're just put in the wrong space for her. Maybe as a coach, I would say when they come off, try and play a more front ball because it's putting so much pressure. Whereas against some of these defenders, they can jump, they can get around. It's really, really difficult to feed that ball. But I think if they are going to try and stay in this game, we're going to have to look at the feeds.
Definitely, and we just saw a battle of the wing defences, the crucial positions of Meg Baker-Rees and Catherine Hughes. We can't talk about wing defences without talking about Catherine Hughes, because she is a pinnacle player for this North East team, and a little sportsmanship. Baker Reese picking her up off the floor after putting her on the floor. But there is Molly Underhill putting that ball up again. The deficit now 7 goals, 18 plays 11, with just under 3 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah,
still time.
There is still time, and you can look if you watch the Caitlin now, the way that she's on Emily Edwards, she's kind of off marking her but restricting and pushing to the sideline. So it's not just about the man on man. She's doing things off the ball to make it even more difficult. As we say, I think glue hands Katie they are making a change, which I do think that's the right call from Wendy Bledin, just because it looks like a few in off the back line, if regardless of what Katie can do. I think just changing it up in there just to mix it up with the defenders.
Absolutely. Well, Katie Davis seems to have just suffered a little bit of an ankle roll or a foot issue during that last passage of play, but Hannah Nolan takes the court for Coastal Heat. Extra little bit of height in there now for Coastal Heat. She played very well in Eberville.
She did. I think she played against us, and that she was one of those players that we actually found really difficult again, because even though she was off in the back space, she was coming front as well. So she was using her height, but actually her movement as well. So it was really difficult. We had a lovely game against Coastal. But I did, like, obviously we're looking at 7 in it now. We need to try and turn over maybe 3 or 4, get back in again, get the confidence going. You could see everyone's heads dropping slightly. But as soon as North East, like I said earlier on, they get a run on it and they start playing the width, it's so hard to get it back.
It's hard to stop momentum, isn't it, of a team like North East? Because once they get going into that rhythm, how do you pull that rhythm out with them when they just keep going and going and going? Yeah,
exactly. And it's a credit to them and it's a credit to the girls on the coaching staff. Their setups are really, really difficult to play against, like we said. But I think, again, with them, it's confidence for them. So if you can get on top of them, like we came within 2 yesterday, and then we made our own errors. But I felt like we did start to rattle them a little bit.
Absolutely. The game yesterday of Valley Volcanoes versus North East Inferno was the one to watch. And like you said, if you make your own errors, North East will always capitalise on those.
Yeah, exactly. They're not a team you can throw the ball away against. Yeah, we're playing more front space as Coastal now. They're offering not just from the circle edge, they're offering the back and the front space. So it looks a bit easier for the attackers to feed. It's that
Hannah
second
Nolan.
phase of that centre pass. It's so structured.
Hannah Nolan got her first shot of the game in. And Molly Underhill will counter. 12 plays 21. 9 goes in it now. Coastal Heat really need to keep composure here and be disciplined. Baker Reese asking for them to settle, but Catherine Hughes right on circle edge, attempting to just get right in the way, knowing the clock was running down, just trying to just be a nuisance in there to stop that ball coming in.
She isn't it? That's a definition of what we can say about them. They are nuisances. Very, very good nuisance players to play against.
They're defensive nuisances, aren't they?
They are.
Through court.
They are indeed. And I think when you're on the circle edge against, some with long levers and they think that you think they're free, they don't put the ball in enough space and they just turn over and they make you suffer, basically. It's about putting that ball so much ahead of these players because they want to off mark, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to create the space, make you think that you're free, but unless we take that extra step onto the ball, they're going to turn her over every time.
And they absolutely do turn it over every time, and they then capitalise on that because their shooting stats, like you said, are always phenomenal. Like Erin Hook yesterday was absolutely on fire, wasn't she? And then when they did bring Molly Underhill on, she also made an impact because her shooting stats are also up there.
I know. She did. I didn't actually look at the stats from the game, but obviously playing in the game myself, I just felt like every time they were going into the circle, it was going in. They're shooting, their technique is outstanding, and if they don't feel comfortable, like I said, they offer again and again and again, and they only take the shot when they know it's going to go in, and that's incredible to have as a shooting network.
Well, Coastal Heat now do have a little bit more work to do. 12 goals, play 21. So we will see what happens when they come back onto the court after this half-time. But some wise words needed for Coastal Heat from the mouths of Bev Ryan and Wendy Bledin, very experienced coaches, as we know, in the South Wales in the game for absolute years. Well, Hannah Nolan is underneath the post putting some shots up, so it looks like she will be staying on court after Katie Davis picked up that injury. Nice combination though of her and Chloe James. She moves the ball well, Chloe James. She knows where people are, especially now with the holding shooter.
Yeah, I think, sometimes within that combination they can get a bit static, and I think I just looked over towards the bench. They're looking at putting Chloe onto wing attack would bring that extra movement, and Maddie Newton in the centre. Just a little bit more speed coming through the court, obviously get some legs rested as well. And hopefully they can put a bit more width in the court. They are very, very quick players, and they offer the speed of the ball. So hopefully when they come back out, we might see a bit of a change.
We might see a change indeed, and we know that the quick hands and feet of Chloe James and Emily Edwards, but I believe we are seeing a change from Coastal Heat in the wing attack position where Chloe Evans is coming onto the court for wing attack. We know that Chloe Evans previously has played goal attack for Coastal Heat, but is a very experienced wing attack as well. Brings a lot of depth, hits pocket well, hits circle edge well. So a little bit more change there from Emily Edwards in centre court.
Yeah, I think they're slightly different styles of play. Maddie, who's going to come on in the centre as well, she hounds every player. We've bumped each other a few times in the past. But no, if you're going to go for the ball, she's on your back. So hopefully she can bring a bit of speed through the court and just fresh legs basically as well.
Absolutely. Well, we are joined again. I am so lucky to have both of them up here now. Sarah Bell is back.
Sorry about that, just took a quick break.
So now I've got two of these wonderful people joining me for these commentaries, so hopefully I can just stay quiet and not say anything, and these can just take us through the game.
You can go home, have a coffee. Yeah. I can't promise there won't be any jokes.
Nick will speak for all of us, I reckon.
Well, the analysis of Valor Volcano's coach and player Nick Cook is absolutely vital, as well as City Flames' experience. These two previous Welsh feathers really taking us through this game, showing us what these two teams are made of, and as they get back onto the court, just scanning for any extra changes. As Nick mentioned, Maddie Newton comes on to centre court position for Coastal Heat, and Lydia Grice takes the wing defence position. Chloe Evans is in at wing attack, and Hannah Nolan will stay in that goal shooter position. For North East Inferno, Emily Wykes has come back onto the court in wing defence, and Katrin Hughes has gone back into centre position. Chloe Morris has stayed in wing attack. We are waiting for the umpires. They will gladly take all the time they're allowed, even though we know that you players like to get on court early. But they like to sit down.
We start to seize up a little bit, so we need to start moving, don't we, Sarah?
Yeah, if you sit down for too long, you feel you can't get up and run again. So
especially you two that have been playing for, let's just say, quite a few years now.
We're still young,
There was a poll from Welsh Netball asking if you want to play an over 35 competition, and we said yes. Well, you turned 35 in January, so...
Don't go telling people that, Nick.
I know.
You can't be playing that just yet then, Sarah. Only Nick will play that by herself.
Yeah, I'm not 35 quite yet.
Steph Perry and I.
She's outing everyone now in this public forum when there is Molly Underhill with the first goal of this third quarter.
Do you know, I hate the call against the centre, but her foot definitely wasn't in the circle then.
No.
And it's one of those rules you never really think about or actually even look at. But even I saw that one.
Aww.
What a shot.
Well, what a shot indeed by Becca Hughes.
The confidence from Becca Hughes. She's happy to put the shot up from anywhere, isn't she?
She is.
But like you say at quarter time, Nick, if she isn't confident, she'll still pass it out, won't she?
She'll go again. And it's just the technique of the shot. It's almost like it comes off the one hand. Oh, what a turnover.
Lydia Grice right in there and manages to get the ball over to Maddie Newton.
Lydia also off a centre, and she, when she comes through the court, she's a strong player driving through, and she's got that bit of height with her as well. It's actually really difficult to get her on the arm span.
Well, Caitlin Jones did exactly the same thing for North East Inferno to turn that ball right back over, and a lovely swing from Becca Hughes. She loves that swing and follow, doesn't she? That just cut across court.
And as a goal attack, I think that drive is really important, because sometimes you may not get the ball, but you've drawn off two defenders and it frees up your shooter under the post.
Exactly. We keep saying to the girls in the circle, if you drive through it, the shooter can tee off and take the backspace. But like you said, unless you don't follow the drive, you're just cluttering everywhere. Keep the tips coming, though.
Katrin Hughes saw that miles off and put a finger to that ball. Caitlin Jones saw that, and Tash Jarvis followed up.
Yeah, Caitlin's hungry for the ball, isn't she?
Always hungry
Always
for the ball.
looking for that ball.
And she isn't the tallest in there, is she?
No.
She's quite on the shorter side for a goal defence, but she can jump. Caitlin Jones, as we mentioned yesterday, was supposed to be in Cape Verde today, but changed her flights yesterday so she could be here.
Oh, wow, that's commitment.
Wow, that is commitment. One of my players left, Kath Titley left yesterday to go to Rome. I asked her to cancel the flight, she told me no.
I don't feel like any of you two would change your flights to Cape Verde, either of you.
Maybe not.
I'll take her place if she wants.
I think many people have decided to take her place. Well, that ball to Hannah Nolan is trying to be put in by Chloe Evans, but Tash Jarvis is really up there.
What the North East defenders are doing, they are creating that diagonal pass every time. So when they hit the circle edge, which is great from the attack, the only back offer is diagonal. We're not setting up the front pass, and that's when they get the tips to it. Whereas it's the opposite for North East. They are driving towards the balls, like Sarah said. As soon as Caitlin gives it, and across the court, and it's come straight back on the baseline.
A well-worked goal again for
Becker.
North East Inferno. Chloe Evans. And Katrin Hughes again hunting for that ball. They're always hunting, always hunting.
She's a very rangy player. But what was good there, Katrin was hunting for the ball, but Becca actually put a good 3-foot guard on to allow that high ball, to allow Katrin to come through. They work really well as a team.
It's like they talk to each other on the court without talking.
And Baker Reese just really unlucky there. I think that was breaking on the centre pass.
We were saying how hard on Meg Baker Reese plays. As a wing defence, goal defence, she is on your body the whole time. She doesn't allow you to move or breathe.
She is one of those players I dread playing against because I know it's going to be a hard game.
You know you're going to come off court feeling absolutely exhausted after playing against Meg Baker Reese. Well placed ball by Katrin Hughes. Underhill holding her own under that post, deserving of her starting position.
Yeah, definitely. She's played really well today.
Nick Cook is not liking this first centre. She is picking up on some foot fault errors, but we have got very experienced umpires.
Yeah, it's just the foot in the centre. I think the umpires are looking at it every time. It's right on the edge. That would just be something I would be saying to my players, just be mindful of it, because they are looking to call everything.
Might not be long until it gets picked up by one of our A and B umpires. Katrin Hughes in acres of space. So is Molly Underhill.
What a ball.
That was a great ball. Molly Underhill came out, created the space into the post. Katrin Hughes not afraid to let that long ball go.
And Underhill as well, protecting the space with her body away from Langford. So whenever she went for it, Langford couldn't even get a hand on it.
They just hold their space so well, even off the ball. The ball's nowhere near them. They've got that space hold. They know when the ball's going to come down. They're constantly changing sides of the court. Whichever side the ball swings, they're there. So that means if the wing attack's coming through, the centre's coming through, as soon as they got the ball, if they're off balance, the shooter or goal attack can just drive straight on.
Well, a time call here. Becca Hughes comes off the court and Ashley Davis comes on to goal attack. We've seen a lot of Ashley Davis yesterday. She plays wing attack, goal attack, and she was very impactful coming on for North East Inferno yesterday. Plays very differently to Becca Hughes, but also has that ability to have a quick chop and change movement through court.
Again, it's that diagonal ball from channel 1 to channel 3. That's where they're picking it up.
They're looking for that,
They're looking for it. I just don't see why they don't reset it and then hit the top of the circle again. Anything in the air, they're going to go for.
The score now 29-15 to North East Inferno. Molly Underhill could not get that ball. Sarah Langford using her body to protect the space for that one.
Coastal are struggling with that drive through court.
Chloe Evans playing really deep as a wing attack there, isn't she? Really high up the court.
Yeah, she was. But you know what? Lucky she was there because there was no option for Sarah Langford to pass. And she did come up to offer some help. So
sometimes what's required. Better footing from Maddie Newton in that centre circle, but Caitlin Jones.
Caitlin covered that centre pass so well. I don't know if you noticed that, but she literally stepped across Chloe James, went down and up and just intercepted the ball, managed to control her feet and control the intercept. She she reads the situation so well, especially with the height difference in there. You didn't think, well, I wouldn't have thought she would have picked that ball up. I think she's like my height, and I can't intercept the ball that well, so credit to her.
You have to do things very differently if you haven't got that height in the, especially playing the circle as well. I don't think I'd ever seen even a goal defence bib, Nick.
No, I'm not very good at that.
Back in the day, Nick.
Back in the day, maybe.
We've had
But
a
watch
few
now,
run
like
outs
she's
to goal
reading that
defence.
game. So Caitlin's playing so high up. She came up onto to cover Lydia's wing defence and then dropped straight back.
And the trust as well they have in each other. Caitlin Jones then went out to almost cover off Chloe Evans, knowing that Tash would cover up that ball in the back for Tash
Exactly.
Jarvis as well.
That allows her to play out the front. Whereas if you know you haven't got the commitment behind you, you're not going to go. But if you watch the way she plays, she obviously completely trusts every player around her.
That is pivotal.
And they're always looking DA every single time.
Chloe James there trying to play a ball over the top of two defenders. And I think what Chloe James does well, she's got quick feet. She needs to just look at an option outside the circle and play herself in.
She does like to put a quick ball in, Chloe James. Maybe Hannah Nolan wasn't quite ready, but like you said, Sarah, maybe a different option was required. Baker Reese shouting at her team to be disciplined. And Lydia Grice again. Wonderful chase.
Oh. It's the battle of the turnovers.
Well, it's been games of turnovers so far today. Ashley Davis working that ball in just to the perfect range she wants. And there it is.
What a lovely shot. First shot.
It was a nice hold by Meg, but a lovely shot.
Good settler for her there.
They're getting out quite easily on the first phase. And I think then as soon as the first phase is gone, second phase is not covered.
Being drawn too much to first phase instead of then watching what happens next.
Yeah, I think they go in really hard on first phase, but the wing attack from Chloe, she's doing so much work off the ball, but it just allows them to set up for the second phase. But because they think that she's going to get the first phase, she's going so hard on it, it's just easily opening up the second phase and then straight into the shooter.
Well, Hannah Nolan is holding her own there against Tash Jarvis. Brings the deficit back to 11. But Ashley Davis, what a sneaky little pop there to Molly Underhill. Lovely work from Molly Underhill.
Taking the lead to 12. Taking the lead to 12 going into this half-time.
Maddie Newton finding space on circle edge. Sneaky pop from James to Nolan, right under the post. Two strong shooters in there for Coastal Heat now, aren't they? They're very athletic and just on the buzzer, showing what they're worth with 21-32. So 11 goals difference right there on the end of the third quarter. So Northeast Inferno putting 12 goals on the board during that third quarter, with Coastal Heat only putting 9 goals on the board. Differences in play. Coastal Heat, Northeast Inferno have just kicked it up a gear.
Yeah, and I think it's really important they're getting their bench players on as well. So they're coming on and making an equally as good impact. They're still playing, they're using their width, they're coming through the middle of the court, they're hitting the circle edge. They're following, they're doing their give and goes. They're doing everything that a coach wants you to do, to be pretty honest. They're a fantastic team out there, and I think Coastal are bringing it to them. I think that when they do have a tip or a turnover, unfortunately, it's not going their way because Northeast are there to pick it up. They are rapid to the court. As a coach, I would be saying to Coastal Heat now, we need to give everything in this. We need to drive towards the ball. We need to have a bit more energy about it and use the give and goes. I haven't seen that many give and goes from the likes of Emily, Maddie. They are quick mid-court, but it almost looks like because they're being pushed to the side, they're not driving to the top of the circle to make it easy for the shooting circle. So I think if they can come on, just pull it, even if they can do 5 turnovers, I know it's a lot in a quarter, but give them a bit of an aim and give them a target.
Yeah, and I agree with Nick. I think with Coastal Heat, what the difference is in that quarter, they've stopped moving. In attack, they've got one option. a lot of the options are driving away from the ball. You've got the likes of Catherine Hughes in our centre who will pick off any aerial ball. So I think for them it is 2 options, and just keep moving. Think about doing a pre-move, back to basics. You know, North East Inferno are really tight on defence. You've got Tash Jarvis in the back there who will pick off any kind of flies coming down court. So really important one for North East Inferno, keep up the pressure on defence, and for Coastal Heat maybe look at their attacking end and look at maybe offering 2 options rather than just the one.
Well, wiser words never spoken from this balcony for both teams there. As we are looking on the court, Chloe Evans has looked to be moved into the goal attack position. She has been playing there for a couple of the games, and Emily Edwards puts back on that wing attack. So as you were saying, Nick, those combinations of those fast feet, fast hands, maybe to move that ball through to give maybe more options in attack for Coastal Heat.
Yeah, I think the way they're going to try and combat this game is speed. North East, they are very, very quick through the court. However, even though it's good to have height in the circle, I think in this scenario, in this game, we need speed. Like Sarah said, there's lack of movement. And I think as soon as you slow down against North East, if you go to the corners, exactly what we did yesterday, it makes it so much harder, and they'll punish you.
Absolutely, and the other switch that Coastal Heat have done is put Sarah Langford out into goal defence again and Liv Hollis back into keeper. But North East Inferno have made switches of their own, and Erin Hook comes on to goal shooter with Becca Hughes back on as goal attack. Ashley Davis moves into that wing attack position, and Jess Daltrey comes back on to centre. We know that this combination is a strong combination for North East Inferno. So are they now just trying to finish off this game and gain some more goal difference themselves? Guess we'll find out.
It'll be really interesting this afternoon, depending on the result of today, of who plays who.
Yeah, this is a crucial game for you, Nick.
Crucial game for us.
Obviously, Coastal, North East to win, because then that would mean you will go through to first, second playoff.
Yeah.
However, if Coastal Heat do manage to get some turnovers now and win, then it could mean a third, fourth playoff for you guys.
It'll come down to goal difference. Obviously, we beat Coastal. They would have beat North East, and North East beat us. So it'd been a bit of a round robin there. But it looks like North East Inferno, unfortunately, aren't going to run away with it. I think they're too much ahead to actually turn the game back right now, which would mean we've got a bit of a job this afternoon to do. But it's quite exciting to see if the score stays as it is, who Coastal Heat will be battling against for third and fourth.
Well, Sarah Langford just tipped the shot of Becca Hughes on that one. I think everyone was a bit surprised, including Becca.
It was great pressure then, wasn't it?
Wonderful pressure from Sarah Langford.
And you could just see the second shot then just put doubt in the mind of Becca.
But Erin Hook, her first shot of the game, as cool, calm and collected as ever. She has been an absolutely outstanding shooter.
I don't think they touched the ring. Did they touch the ring? It's just like a swoosh every time.
She's a bit of, Gwenna Williams is the same kind of shooter, isn't she?
Yeah.
Her balls never touch the ring, it just falls, and you almost look to see if it actually went in.
Yeah. I'm like, is it going to be a rebound or never? That's a lovely turnover.
Liv Hollis with an all-important turnover for Coastal Heat.
She turned it over, composed, and actually followed the ball, allowed it to stay in to win it for her team. A lot of the tips and turnovers are going off court.
All-important turnover for Liv Hollis, especially important to follow all of your tips.
I think this is going to be key. If Chloe can play at the front of the circle, and having the height to rebound this makes such a difference.
Well, combination of Hannah Nolan and Chloe Evans now in that circle. Massive height difference, but the movement of Chloe Evans is definitely important. Ashley Davis takes the head off Grice and is happy to recycle to get a better position.
Oh, that was good pressure in the circle. They just need to slow the ball down.
And the fast transition from Heat, but just too fast for the feet of Hannah Nolan.
And the pressure from Caitlin out front. I don't know if you saw her, she came for the court then, obviously playing goal defence. She completely shut off the run of Emily as a wing attack and then went into the circle and covered her own player as well. She just has too much movement outside the circle.
Well,
she got an address in the valley somewhere.
Maybe you can move her into your house and next year she'll play for you.
She'll leave after 10 minutes.
Ashley Davis there, an absolute catalyst in the middle for North East Inferno. Chloe Evans. Held for 3 seconds.
That was unfortunate.
Not often you see that for a shooter, is it?
That was unlucky there. She, you know, lovely shot on for her as well. Been a good settler.
And Erin Hook.
Doesn't
Erin
miss.
Hook's movements, her timing are so perfect, aren't they? And we were talking yesterday, if she had played for any other team, she might be there too soon.
Yeah, it's just the fact that they're so quick. They read each other so well. But even if she was there too soon, I feel like they know each other well enough to change and go again. And she's there again, again, and again.
And every player on this North East team always offers and re-offers. And I think that gives them that extra bit of support for every ball. And there is Chloe Evans on that re-offer for Heat.
I think Chloe Evans is doing a great job in a goal attack there, just offering more movement in the circle, and it just creates opportunity like that for the ball to go in to the goal shooter.
They don't look as static anymore. They can see the movement coming through, as you say.
Coastal Heat almost playing with 2 wing attacks and a goal shooter at the moment with the way Chloe Evans is playing.
And I think against defence like the North East Inferno, I think that's what's needed.
I was going to say that's one of the first misses I've seen, but it was obstruction and then she shot it in, so I take it back.
Thank you. I'm sure they'll be happy for you to retract your comment. Well, Coastal Heat now trailing 39-23.
And you can see North East, they're setting up that diamond in defence every time. So every time there's a set pass or a centre play, a sideline, the diamond is set up. And they're just creating that hole in the middle to fly in on it.
But they set up that kind of defensive play even when they're attacking.
Yeah, they do. Which is lovely to play against.
Well, you better brush up on your North East Inferno knowledge, Nick, because it looks like it'll be North East versus Valley Volcanoes. But here is Catherine Hughes coming on as goal defence. I almost lost my words then, thinking Becca Hughes has changed side of the court.
She doesn't normally play goal defence, does she?
I don't think I've seen her play goal defence, but obviously Caitlin Jones needs a bit of a rest.
Well, to be fair, like I said earlier on, they pretty much play it everywhere, both of them. Between each other, I think they can cover the whole court. But it's a pretty skillful going from a centre to goal defence. What do you think?
Well, Catherine and Becca were absolutely gutted about that one because Catherine ran all the way up the court, found Becca in pocket, but Becky Scott said, my whistle was blown, back it goes.
Yeah, they got energy for days. She's coming back on. She could be resting, but she's back in.
She had 10 minutes off.
Yeah.
She's absolutely fine.
That's enough.
Would not be
I
enough
just
for
about
me.
walk today, but you know, they can keep running around. It's a 10-year deficit, it's got to be. How old are they? How old are they? That's a nice pop from Chloe. Just
Lovely
playing that
pop.
front ball, it just offers. It's just extra offers from the mid-court. It's so much easier to read. And she pops it over nicely to Hannah as well.
And as a goal attack, I think it's easier to pop the ball into your shooter rather than trying to do it off circle edge. Or
Lovely shot again by Erin Hook. Chloe Evans coming straight off the line and finding Edwards. And there is that ball from Edwards. She has
It's a
great
nice lead.
placement, doesn't she, Emily Edwards?
yeah, and she turns on his first time ball. She's not afraid to give it that first time. It
Quite
allows.
interesting to see what the score is in this quarter. Do we know? That means I got to do my math now.
Yeah.
11-6 to
Thanks,
North
Sarah.
East.
Thanks, Sarah.
Sarah is the teacher amongst us three.
Quick maths.
Only
Quick
because
math.
I feel like in the attack it's opened up nicely. I do think it's a good combination, especially with the three. The attack and then the centre pass looks more clear. They're taking it circle edge and it's popping into Hannah Nolan underneath the post.
There's a Grice with a nice tip off side of the court. Jess
Yeah.
Daltrey fighting through. Becca Hughes fighting against the moving post.
Do you see the way they flood the middle? So it just looks like, sorry, I just shouted into the microphone, but it's all black. And then straight up for that interception, and Coastal were lucky to keep that.
Flooding the middle, forcing the long ball.
But what a lovely shot from Chloe Evans.
Chloe Evans has been A lovely impact addition to this Coastal Heat team. And there is that space again from Nolan.
What a centre pass that was. That is textbook.
As a coach, Nick, that's what you tell your
Every
players
time
to do.
that was perfect. That drive from Emily to the top of the circle, she landed within an inch from her toe at the top, and it was a lovely feed into the shooter.
As someone who's previously coached me, I think I was taught that by Nick very early on.
Shot.
Erin Hook just looking cool and collected, as if, yeah, I do that
I think
all
that's
day,
just
every
Erin
day.
Hook, isn't it? Constantly.
Yeah.
She
Did
never
have a
looks
break this
flustered.
afternoon? Has she got a flight to catch? Or
I don't think any of North East are going anywhere this afternoon, unfortunately.
A good take there by Evans. Not afraid to put the shot up.
I'm lucky.
Didn't quite fall this time.
And you'd expect Nolan to try and go for those rebounds, right? If Chloe is the shorter of the ones in the circle.
I just think that Jarvis is doing a great job of keeping it away from posts.
Yeah, she is. She is blocking out Nolan really well. But a couple of misses now on both ends of the court. Moving the ball back and forth.
The speed of the ball coming through the court, though, is so quick. The pre-moves, the work off the ball, it just allows it to fly.
And there is that shot from Hannah Nolan, taking the score to 44-31. Lydia Grice comes through on Becca Hughes, who was aching for the buzzer. But there is that final score of this match. North East Inferno 44, Coastal Heat 31. Well, Nick Cook, you now know who you'll probably be facing.
I do.
In that final match of the day for you. North East Inferno top the table currently with no losses, absolutely unbeaten, 5s all around. But Coastal Heat did well to stay in that game.
Yeah, do you know, there's a lot of positives they can take from that game. I think they started really strong, but I do think from the playoffs this afternoon now, they need to look at the movement in the circle and the attack. And as soon as they made the changes and they came off the line, they set up a centre pass. It looked so much clearer for them. And obviously from our point of view, we need to go and have a little rest. I think that actually made me even more tired watching that game from North East Inferno. We've got a lot to try and do this afternoon, but I think that we went out there yesterday, we didn't put on a top performance. A lot of the girls are hungry to come back and hopefully try and keep the trophy today, but I think that it's going to be difficult, but we're definitely up for the challenge.
Lovely. And Sarah Bell, last comment from you, ready this afternoon for your placement playoff?
Yeah, I think for us, massive confidence boost this morning to get our win. We know we're up against North West this afternoon. We played them yesterday, so still quite fresh in our minds in terms of how they play. So it's just looking back to yesterday's game, adjusting where we need to adjust, looking at this morning, taking all the positives. And yeah, I think, confidence in the team is high. So we're going for the win.
Well, great work. Good luck to you both this afternoon in your final placement playoffs. We will be back with you just before 1:45 for that 7th, 8th position playoff. Will be West Wales Phoenix plays Powys Sparks. So please join us just before 1:45 for all the action for that one. Bye for now.